Just realized this is an upside down pineapple. Hey, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. I'm Jarrell. I'm a human being. I thought it would be fun today to share one of my projects with you. I'm constantly working on many different projects. If you are an artist, if you are creative, you should strive to be prolific, to create, to keep improving, to do more, to learn more, to understand more. And so to do that, you have to keep creating. Writing is one of my favorite things in the world. And I've, over the past few years, have been writing something that is meant to be structured like an anime. And I want to use this to create an ongoing game series, but it would be episodic. And my idea for this, it's called Infinity Chapter. The idea is that I would run it like a serialized manga or anime, where maybe every week or every other week you get another episode. And the reality of the situation is something like that would take an immense amount of work. So I've been working on a game framework that would allow me to create games significantly faster. So now this concept, doing this, weekly, bi-weekly, is absolutely possible now that I've created this new game framework that allows me to make action games and action RPGs, and it is comprised of a bunch of tools and all the logic that let me work extremely quickly. I would love to be able to work on this. So today I'm going to share with you a little bit of the story and the characters of this game. And I'm not in active development for this project now, but I've written a massive amount for it. I've written multiple story arcs, I've written all the characters. And I hope that in the future I could run this, and then every week or other week I could roll out a new episode, and then you guys can play it and enjoy it. So that'll be at some point in the future. I have a number of games that I'm working on right now that I'm finishing up, but I want to share this with you. I'm going to open up my OneNote document here, and I'll just read through it. I haven't looked at this in a while. I think I last was doing revisions on this about 8 or 9 months ago, something like that. So I think it'd be fun to just relax, grab yourself a snack and a warm beverage, and I will share with you the story of Infinity Chapter, and we can take a look at what the characters are like. And when it comes to anime, I'm thinking about this as an anime. In my head, I'm writing this as if, what if this was a manga? What if this was an anime? So that's how I'm viewing this. So I'm going to call it an anime, even though it's a serialized game. This is what it would be. Okay, let's take a look. This is Infinity Chapter. So, the story of Infinity Chapter takes place in a world where basically the surface of the world is no longer habitable. Every so often, some kind of strange poisonous liquid comes out of the ground. It seeps out of the ground, it floods the land, and it's just uninhabitable. And so towers grew out of the earth. Either people built them or the earth grew them. No one is entirely sure where the towers come from, but basically the only habitable parts of the world are these towers, and they extend so high into the sky. But they're quite dangerous to climb, as monsters have started inhabiting the higher levels of the towers, and the people tend to live on the lower level. There's these columns that extend into the sky. So our protagonist, our starting hero, and this is an ensemble. I love ensemble stories. I'm a massive fan of One Piece, and Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, all the various Gundams. I love an ensemble thing. So this is written with just a ton of cool characters with weird powers. So, and I want this to be written like a battle shonen, so there's, of course it's fighting, and there's powers. Arcane Silver Knight is the protagonist, who's headstrong, optimistic, kind-hearted, and stubborn. He wants to be a world-famous climber. There's probably going to be typos in here. I typed this on my phone, so. And he wants to ascend the ancient and mysterious towers scattered across the world to discover the secrets of the Infinity Chapter, which supposedly has the power to fix the world and restore it to its form before it was destroyed and the surface became uninhabitable. He's driven by his grandfather, who told him countless stories of what the world was like before it was destroyed, and how exciting life is being an adventurer and climber. His weapon is called the Galantir. It's a shape-shifting staff inherited from his grandfather, and it can take different shapes based on the user's emotions and memories. So it sort of taps into your mind. Only people from his grandfather's lineage can use the Galantir. Let me go ahead and extend the page a little bit. There we go. And he believes that his strength comes from that which is given to him in the form of tools. And after being terribly defeated and his staff destroyed, he manifests a rare ability called aura shifting. This ability has only ever existed in legends and allows the user to convert internal and ambient aura energy into physical objects by compressing this energy. Constructs of immeasurable sharpness, weight, and mass can be created. So aura shifting can even fortify the user's muscle tissue and blood vessels, allowing great feats of strength and speed. This results from years of training with the shifting staff and from an overwhelming surge of emotion arising from Arkine's wishes to protect his friends. He lives his life by 3 rules: be honest, hardworking, and be kind to others. He believes people should have a dream and a goal, and does not respect or acknowledge people who reject those things. He chooses his allies and travelers based on those criteria. And so we can that's just sort of background stuff. So this is a character who starts out thinking, oh, well, I need this tool in order to be strong, and then over the early part of the story he discovers how to have strength internally instead of externally. And I wanted him to be able to fight hands-on. I think the more interesting characters to watch in Battle Shonen and in anime are characters that fight hands-on, and that is partly why I started with the staff, and I thought, how can I make him more tactile? A tactile character is fun. And so the staff gets destroyed, and then he fights more hands-on by constructing, energy weapons that are attached to his body. So we have Mardoon Bustersmith. He is a spunky, independent, and determined swordsman who wants to discover and wield ancient weapons. He has a fascination with giant swords. He has poor money management skills and often takes extremely difficult and outlandish jobs for very little pay. He has dreams of discovering all of the ancient legendary elemental swords and learning to harness their power. He strongly believes in working as a team and relying on others, and is sometimes at odds with Arkine when it comes to those principles. He is a bit naive, overly enthusiastic, and tries his best to see the positive side of things. His brother and father participated in a civil war on opposite sides and lost their lives. He was too young to join at the time and despises his sense of weakness he feels for himself. He enjoys training and often engages with sparring and training with Arkine. In Arkine, Mardoon sees a sparring partner, friend, and a sort of brother of equal age that he never had before. Arkine is inspired by Mardoon's persistence and strength, and they drive each other to get stronger. I'd kind of forgotten a lot of this stuff because I'm constantly writing a lot of stories and many different characters. So this is fun for me to look at. I don't even remember that part, so that's cool. Salcine Belpine is a curious, adventurous, but terribly indecisive young woman who wants to become the world's best architect. By studying towers all across the world, she hopes to gain the knowledge and skills of generations past. She at first isn't very combative. She eventually develops abilities so she can feel more useful and helpful to the party. She uses an elemental gun which eats different combinations of materials, so she has to feed materials to the gun to create an elemental shot. Different materials produce different kinds of attacks. She discovers this weapon inside one of the ancient towers. She studied architecture in her small village and dreamed of building big, strong buildings. Her village was regularly raided by raiders who regularly destroyed their homes. So this is a fun character, and I imagine her starting out in the story not being able to contribute much during battle, and then I would imagine at some very pivotal moment where the characters are in danger. It starts out with just these two, or these three. She discovers this weapon and she's able to contribute suddenly, and she gets to grow, and you get to see her grow. And I sort of love that. I love watching characters grow because it feels like you are joining them for this adventure. You get to grow along with them. Ember Steadfast, a stubborn, quiet, sometimes antisocial recluse who possesses a rare ability to tame, capture, and train beasts for use in combat. I love beast taming. I love summon characters, beast characters. I just love that. Using an ancient organic storage mechanism, he is able to store beasts in small containers. Oh, there's a little tongue-in-cheek. Yeah. He wants to explore the world and discover all the beasts in the world and see if he can capture and train them all. I think this one was meant to be a bit tongue-in-cheek, yeah. But RPGs have been doing monster taming for a long time. He uses whips to fight one-on-one, or maybe use that concept of fusing with beasts. This character might have to be removed due to complexity and concept. I like the idea. It's possible I might have to cut it out. And I understood the technical complexity of that, and then I realized it might be too much, so I didn't write that much for the character. So that's one that probably might disappear. We'll see. Okay, and we have Aginu GR3453. And this is an old salvaged robot from ancient times, barely functioning with majority of its memory missing. It longs to learn more of the past from whence it came. By exploring towers, it hopes to recover lost chunks of data and remember the world it once knew but forgot. It is capable of using special energy blast weapons. Due to its poor condition, it has a habit of malfunctioning and breaking down. It has a habit of delivering erroneous facts and information, and often falsely believes it is succumbing to various human sicknesses and conditions. I love this character. I love a robot. I'm a big fan of robots. I know I haven't written down that much stuff for it, but in my head, I know a lot of stuff that I want to do with this character. I love a robot. Okay, we have Bullet Roosevelt, and this is one of my favorite characters that I've written for this. There's a lot here. Okay, so he is a cowboy thirsting for a life of adventure and danger. He jumps into situations without planning or worrying. He tends to be too reckless and careless, often picking fights due to his bad temper. He dual wields ancient firearm handguns. So this is not the elemental guns that Salcian uses. Bullet uses handguns. He wants to explore the world and be known as the world's best gunman and a true cowboy, and would like to one day discover an actual living horse so he can ride one. So this is a character who is a bit of a historian, and he's infatuated with the idea of the Wild West and the past. And he loves that. So that's his whole vibe. He has a soft spot for animals and goes out of his way to protect them at all costs. He possesses a unique ability to catch an elemental energy attack and store it in a bullet, then fire it back at enemies. He believes in living life like a true cowboy and sticking to his guns, similar to Arkine. That's a typo. He grew up listening to stories about his father's days as a Wild West gunman and pioneer. When Bullet set out to live the dream... I'm going to fix that typo there. When Bullet set out to live the dream and take his father with him, his father refused to go and said he was too old. Oh my god, that's sad. He grew up in a small camp with a handful of hunters. All through his life, people told him he could never be a real cowboy. He got in regular fights with his fellow hunters, who would regularly get drunk and gang up on him and beat him up. He learned how to fist fight, take a beating, and turn people's attacks against them. This translates into his Memora ability. Oh, that's right. There's a magic system here. There's a magic system called Memora. I'll have to look at my notes and then and figure it out again. Oh, you know what? I know what the magic system is. There is a power system. The power system here is called Memora, and it's based on your ability to manifest your past experiences and memories and feelings, and then that manifests into like an energy construct, but it means that you don't fully have control over your Memora abilities, and that means that your powers can actually get worse over time. If you have a bunch of really negative experiences, really bad experiences or bad moments in your life, they can result in your powers getting worse, having negative effects, or even turning against you. And I created this power system because I thought it would be an interesting way to tell the story. You know, during heightened moments in anime where a character, you know, gets angry and, you know, don't hurt my daddy, you know, in a big power burst, right? That's very linear. It can only move in one direction. It can only do one thing. This way, with the Memora power system, if you feel too negatively and too angry in a certain way, your powers can just get worse. They can get weaker, and you can remember a bad memory, and your powers can suck. So I thought that would be an interesting power system. So I have to look at my notes again. So Hannibal Hatchet. Oh, this is one of my favorite characters that I've done. Okay. This is a cactus that gained sentience and believes itself to be a doctor. It wears a hat, glasses, and a mustache. Cactuses can't have hair. If you've seen them, it's wild. Its memories, that's the wrong its. I'm sure OneNote corrected me on that. Its memories seem to be a bizarre mixture, often forgetting it isn't a person, and has short-term memory. In moments of clarity, it wonders its existence and wants to find meaning and purpose in its life. It possesses... OneNote, what are you doing? It possesses a bizarre ability... It possesses a bizarre ability to heal its body. Okay, OneNote, you're pissing me off with these itses, alright? It possesses a bizarre ability to heal its body even after catastrophic harm and can even heal allies. It uses mostly martial arts attacks involving punching. It can communicate and hear the voices of other plants, often using this as a form of navigation and survival. Unfortunately, the use of Hannibal's powers comes at a cost. When Hannibal heals someone's injuries, they lose memories of him. The more serious the injury, the more memories of him are lost. That's sad. And I've already planned out a huge story arc where we're going with the character and his relationship with the other characters. And I think that's sad. You know, you can heal someone, but then they won't remember you. And this guy kind of just wants to live a life and go on adventures with Arkine and the others. And then they lose memories of him when he heals them. So I think that's cool. I think it's an interesting concept. We have Frina von Katz, a pushy, flirtatious, irresponsible, and fun-loving young woman. She does what she can to hide and forget about her tragic past and heartbroken by loss and grief. Having studied the ancient mechanics with her parents, she joins the group after meeting Agenu and realizes that the only chance it has of surviving and continuing to operate is if she joins the party. She is constantly repairing, improving, and helping Agenu continue to function. She uses mechanical gauntlets to fight, which can change shape and form depending on the needed situation. Her abilities allow her gauntlets to change into ever-evolving forms for combat. She can be a bit rough around the edges when it comes to manners, but she values knowledge and honesty above all else. She's extremely insightful, and with the ability of hyper-perception, is capable of laying traps to defeat her foes. That sounds fun. I like a good mechanic character. Rocker Greystone, an older man who has mostly given up on life. He accepts an opportunity to travel and explore the world with Arkine when Rocker sees similarities of his sons in Arkine. Rocker's son disowned him many years ago and has not seen him since. After the death of his wife, he has lost the will to do much of anything, but feels motivated to take action after seeing Arkine and his group try their best to follow their dreams. Rocker is inspired to follow his dreams of teaching the long-lost form of archery to young people around the world and keep the art form alive. In this world, it's kind of in the far future, and people, you know, they barely know what the Wild West is. They barely, you know, they've kind of heard of archery, you know, so there's this exploring the idea of this is at some point in the future, you know. He is passionate and he is a passionate expert marksman with archery. He is somewhat old-fashioned and believes in staying quiet unless he has something important to say. His traditional values often put him at odds with the younger members. He does respect Bullet's somewhat old-fashioned values, and they often challenge each other to feats of sniping. Having seen the younger members work so hard, he once again starts training his body to peak levels in order to not be a burden. Barstad Holmes, a dour, quiet, and overly serious young man with the ability to hear and detect animal and enemy movements with extraordinary precision. He is overly concerned with what other people think of him and wonders his existence. He is stubborn, honest, and prioritizes relaxing to keep mind and body healthy. Due to his abilities, he's able to sense weather changes, that's useful, and conditions on a level far beyond other humans. He travels with hopes of one day understanding and learning how to predict the climate so he can teach these skills to people, and serves as a climate reader for Arkine. He starts the story working in a rival climber party who seem to bully and take Barstad for granted. After the groups come into conflict and get split up, Barstad ends up with Arkine's group and gradually gains respect for them before deciding to join them. For weapons, he uses his fishing pole and equips various blades and objects as lures to do damage. That's kind of cool, fun, interesting. I was really leaning into the sort of the RPG idea with what's a weird weapon. For example, he can equip a knife or an elemental gem as a lure and fight unconventionally. Okay, and then I have this. Oh wait, maybe he wants to be the world's best fisherman and catch the biggest and rarest fish from all around the world. He has an affinity with animals, and as such, Mochi and Gamble seem drawn to him. Those are characters. Okay, yeah. He wins fights not through sheer strength, but by detecting and adapting to enemy movements and behaviors, and by predicting and preempting those actions. He is accustomed to using traps and hunting style to overwhelm his foes. Okay, possibly a good candidate for attaining Feral Cloak powers. So there's, he lacks Memora. So, you know, the power system in this is Memora. Feral Cloak is something that if you get exposed to that sort of, I mentioned this sort of poisonous toxic water, that an ocean that rises out of and floods the land. I think if you get exposed to that, I have to check my notes, but you can develop something called a feral cloak that sort of gives you special powers, but you become more feral, but you're strong. Let's take a look at Octavius Squall the Third, a calm, collected, and frustratingly cool-headed young man. He worked for many years as a small ferry operator for Altacross Corporation. Altacross Corporation is basically the big corporation that runs anything and everything in the world. It's the big company, the big organization. It organizes air travel, and basically has their finger in every pie. He has long since stopped believing in dreams, no longer wanting to become an airship pilot to explore the world. However, after meeting Arkine and his crew, his sense of adventure and dreaming is rekindled, and he joins the party as the airship pilot. Born as a skyhawk, that's like a bird human, but with only a small percentage of skyhawk in his blood, he has been unable to sprout wings. So when skyhawks get older, they manifest wings, but he never grew wings and is thus disheartened. He dreams of flying and one day truly having wings. He uses throwing blades called feather blades as his weapons, being proud of his nerves, accuracy, and keen eyesight. He would like to fly and see the entire world and share his passion of flying freely with the world. He has a fascination with proper etiquette and chivalrous behavior and always conducts himself with poise and respect. After meeting Arkine, he becomes comfortable with expressing and exploring his beliefs of freedom, wonder, and self-exploration, believing that no one can fully know everything. He eventually manifests the power to emit powerful aura in the shape of glowing iridescent wings, which is said to occur in a special skyhawk once every 100 years. That's the thing. Every 100 years, you know, in an anime or an RPG, something happens every 100 years. Despite lacking physical wings, these aura wings give him the ability to fly and boost his physical strength and speed. Upon seeing Arkine and Mardune's brotherly rivalry, he joins in as a fellow sort of brother, sparring partner, and friendly rival. Okay, we have Lililia Lawless. I like the name. That's fun. My webcam is freaking out. Let me see what's going on. It's stuttering now. I'm sure Windows is doing something that's making my computer freak out. Okay, we have Lililia Lawless. As a bounty hunter and mercenary in her early 30s, she is hardened and unmoved by emotion. She buried her spirit along with her past after seeing endless brutality and death in her line of work. She possesses special abilities which allow her to absorb light, create areas of darkness. She fights using jewels and gems, pushing energy through the jewels to create beams and blasts. That's sick. I'm gonna say I don't remember writing that, so that's pretty sick. She is a master chef and worked and studies for many years to become a world-famous chef. However, after a traumatic event, she was forced to live life as a mercenary until she is hired by Arkine and his crew as a chef. Her hope for reaching her dreams are rekindled after being inspired by his party, and they permanently hire her as a chef. After hiring her, Arkine orders her to follow her dream of being the world's best chef and feeding the world no matter what. After helping to raise her own orphanage during a tragedy during her past, she has grown to care for others younger and less fortunate than herself. It turns out she is unable to read, having grown up in a village that forbade it. When she cooks, she simply recreates the image she sees without understanding the ingredients, resulting in the food tasting awful. That's funny. Over time, she learns to read and eventually cooks amazing food. All right, that's a cool character arc. I don't remember writing that, but that's fun. I like that a lot. Here we go. Gamble Winterfield. This is a wolf. I like a wolf. For those of you that have been enjoying the Digimon videos, I think you get my vibe. I like robots and dinosaurs and wolves. Gamble Winterfield is a rare winged wolf. Gamble is aggressive towards the group, trying to stop anyone from going near his master's home. His master is a seasoned and famous pilot, and many people, including Sky Raiders, have attempted to break into his home to steal his treasures from around the world and force him to pilot them to various places around the world. Gamble protects his master's home no matter what. When Arkine and his group help protect Gamble from raiders trying to poach him, Gamble allows Arkine to enter his master's home, only for the group to discover the master has passed away from old age. After burying the old pilot, Arkine invites Gamble to go with them, but Gamble refuses to budge. However, as Arkine's group travels, they sense they are being followed. Eventually, Gamble saves them from raiders seeking revenge. Gamble joins the crew, serving as a guardian and emergency form of flying transportation. And the master is Pilot Falco Winterfield. Okay. Oh, that's the name of his master who died. Gamble uses biting and claws to fight and has ability sets that change based on mood. He would like to be a pilot and be able to fly people around the world, but knows that is impossible because he is not a person. He bonds closely to Bullet, who sees Gamble as a noble steed, and Hannibal, who can understand his speech. Oh, I like that! Oh, I like that a lot. Wow. So there's, I write, because it's an ensemble piece, I specifically write characters to have certain kinds of relationships with others. So Gamble has intellect, but he can't speak, and he understands he's not a person. But Hannibal, the cactus, Hannibal can understand him, and Hannibal can speak. So Hannibal can translate for Gamble. I like that. Oh, cool. Zolliver Highhorse. This is a lot. Okay, I'm gonna end the video here, and then if anyone's interested, I can do a part 2. But there's one character here that I want to do because I thought I know he's interesting. I really like him. Where is he? We'll do one more here. Check out this guy's name, Handsome Fortnite. Oh man, hold on, let me find the character out. Hold on, I forgot this character's name. Unodos Tress. I forgot I wrote that character's name. That's fun. Whoa. This guy's name is Cavernous Cavendish. This is very funny to me. I write a lot, and I don't remember writing that, so it's very funny to me. This is the character that I was looking for. Okay, I'll just very quickly go over this. Unodos Tress is a spoiled, pampered, and high-born young man with a false sense of entitlement and pride. He has been gifted a powerful mechanical bow fitted with advanced technology and magic jewels. He has been traveling with his entourage across the countryside, supposedly saving people from beasts and bandits with his heroic deeds. In fact, he has been destroying towns, homes, and other properties with his destructive weapon. When Rocker Greystone, the old guy who does the archery, challenges him to a contest of marksmanship, Unodos Tress continues to cheat until he eventually puts other people's lives in danger. After suffering Unodos's humiliation in silence, he uses his simple bow to save the lives of both the people in danger as well as Unodos himself. In awe and accepting defeat, Unodos accepts the payment for defeat by forfeiting his bow to Rocker. Unodos is certain of Rocker's jealousy and envy until Rocker destroys the mechanical bow immediately and gives Unodos his own bow. Speechless, Unodos leaves the group and returns home to ponder the events. He later hires assassins to get revenge for his humiliation, but after Arkine's group defeats them and confronts Unodos again, Rocker decided to let Unodos leave without punishment. Later in the story, as Unodos's family is murdered by bandits, Arkine's group encounters Unodos. As Unodos is certain the group is there to humiliate him, Rocker instead comforts and hugs the young man, who then openly weeps. Arkine and the group track down and stop the bandits, helping Unodos get justice. During a pivotal moment, Unodos, instead of killing the bandits, decided to hold them in place until the authorities arrive to send them to prison. Genuinely grateful, Unodos vows to treat people better and learn archery properly the old-fashioned way. He later serves as a supportive ally. That's a cool... I love that kind of character. I love anime, I love characters, I love stories, and I love a wicked name. That makes me laugh. All right, so I hope you enjoyed taking a look at that. If anyone is interested, I can... Oops. I can share more if anyone's interested. I know this is a long video. This is not the kind of video that does well on YouTube. YouTube's algorithm will dislike this video very much. But I just wanted to share some writing and some characters with you. At some point in the future, I will be working on this, and that is because I've completed my game framework that will allow me to make this game pretty quickly, and it would allow me to roll out episodes regularly. So my idea, I can talk more about this, but the idea was you would play an episode, and after you finish the episode, you unlock non-canon mode. So the first time you play an episode, you have to go use the characters that are part of the story. You have to use specific items and weapons, and you are restricted to the level cap of that story. After you unlock non-canon mode, you can replay it on different difficulties, and you can have anyone in your party that you want. So you can go through the story with anyone, and that's non-canon mode. Anyway, I'll talk about more later. I hope you enjoyed that. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for spending some time with me. Be well. I'll see you later.